Hello, you wonderful people. My name is Gnome and welcome back to another episode of the Gamesician. Are you ready to be knee-deep in the dead? Well, I hope so, because this time we're taking on the demons from hell in the FPS classic, DooM. So many other YouTubers have already done a video on this gem with the release of the new DooM, but they don't get into music as much as I do. This is also one of my favorite games of all time, so I think I'm kind of obligated to do it anyways. I mean, I don't think there will be enough said about DooM 1 and 2 since they are near-perfect games in my opinion. So, with that being said, grab your shotgun and let's rain in the blood of beasts. DooM was released December 10th of 1993. It was developed by id Software, which also created Wolfenstein 3D. The two main programmers associated with the project are John Carmack and John Romero. Development for the game started sometime in 1992 when John Carmack created the DooM engine. While the rest of the id team worked on the prequel of Wolfenstein, The Spear of Destiny, Carmack worked on DooM. DooM had quite a bit of influence from the movie industry, mainly from the films Alien and The Evil Dead 2. A bit of a D&D campaign the developers were playing at the time also made it into the game. The name of the game also came from a movie. In the film, The Color of Money, Tom Cruise's character shows up in a pool hall with a custom pool case. Someone then asks him, "What do you have in there?" Cruise then replies, "DooM." The story for DooM is super simple. You kill things. That's it! Alright, that's not it. But if you didn't have the manual for the game, the only story you got was from the bits after you completed each episode. In the manual, the character you take control as is an unnamed space marine, now known as Doom Guy. After deciding to beat the crap out of his CO, he is sent to Mars as punishment. In this universe, Mars is a very boring place to be. Oh, the irony. The reason why Mars needs Marines there is because a company called the Union Aerospace Corporation, or UAC, is conducting teleportation experiments to create gateways between Mars's moons, Phobos and Deimos. Eventually, stuff goes down on the moons, to which your new unit is sent in to investigate what the heck is going on. As soon as you arrive, your buddies give you a pistol and make you keep guard outside. When they go inside though, they get massacred as you get to hear their screams and cries over the radio. As soon as it goes silent, you go inside because you can't fly your way off Phobos. So, it's time to go in and fight some baddies. You know, John Carmack said that, quote, "Story in a game is like story in a porn movie. It's expected to be there, but it's not that important," unquote. This was evident as the original story was scrapped almost entirely. To an extent, I can agree, but even the simplest of games, you have to have at least some degree of storytelling. Some games are entirely just story, and I think games like that are cool as well. Your journey through DooM is divided up into 3 episodes. If you have the ultimate DooM like I do, you have 4. The first episode is Knee Deep in the Dead. This takes place on Mars' moon Phobos. The structures you'll be fighting in vary from high-tech science facilities and power plants to military bases and buildings corrupted by the demonic presence. The second episode is aptly titled The Shores of Hell. After you fight off the baddies on Phobos, it's time to go to Deimos, the other moon of Mars. This moon has a similar feel to Phobos, but the structures are much more manipulated and distorted by the demon invasion. Now, we have a third episode, Inferno. It takes place in hell itself. It's hell, so not much more to say, is there? After you've defeated the baddies that forged the plan in hell, you can make your way back to Earth. While you're away, demons attacked. They even killed your bunny. How could they? This is when the 4th and final episode, Inferno, takes place. At least that's what some think. The developers put even less into the story for this episode. As for gameplay, it's an FPS. You know, you shoot, kill, obliterate everything and anything in your path. It's pretty basic. You can get things like a pistol and a shotgun, to a chainsaw, or the infamous BFG 9000. You know what that stands for? It stands for Big F***ing Gun. What? Why did I get beeped?
Hey, you can't say that. You have kids watching this. I don't want to hear that. You can't say that.
Oh my
God,
you're a terrible
I don't want to
person.
hear
You
that.
should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh
no,
I was the
interweb.
How could I do such a thing?
Blah, blah, blah.
To survive when you slaughter demons, you pick up health and armor pickups. You can also get a berserk pack that allows you to punch the hell out of your foes. No pun intended. There's a decent variety of enemies to fight as well. You have possessed space marines to big rocket launching demons to take on. It also had a pretty rad multiplayer. The mastermind behind the metal and horror-induced soundtrack was a man named Bobby Prince. He is an independent composer and sound designer. His most notable works are Wolfenstein 3D, Doom 1 and Doom 2 of course, as well as Duke Nukem 2 and 3D. He had used MIDI controllers to create the music. Those files were then compressed into these files known as MUS files. They are pretty much the same exact thing except more compact than MIDI files. Bobby Prince expertly crafted the songs and showed how good MIDI can and still does sound. Throughout the soundtrack of Doom, you can hear the contemporary metal and thrash music influences he had, but I'll get to that portion later. The tracks were perfectly placed in each level. While it's hard to see now, this game was very scary back then. The gore and sounds helped bring the atmosphere together with the music. Stereo sound also had a helping hand in that as well, to add some additional spooks. There are around 20 songs that were used for the levels in Doom. The first and most of the second episode had different songs for each level. After a certain point they were used, but that wasn't a problem since the songs were amazing. The music not only said a lot about the environment of the game, but could also speak to the music of the times, at least a certain crowd of people during the early 90s. Doom's impact on the gaming industry is immense. Without Doom, the FPS genre may not have reached the mainstream with as much punch as it did. We may not have COD or Battlefield without it. Some may consider that a blessing though. It also helped build upon the horror genre in many ways with the sound design and visuals. It may have helped people get into metal. I'm pretty sure it helped me. As I said before, Bobby Prince had a lot of influence from contemporary metal and thrash music. Some of the tracks have a lot of similarities to real-world songs. So much so that he's gotten some criticism for it from the folk and the music community. I would show you a comparison, but I don't feel like dealing with a copyright strike or something like that, so I'd recommend finding the songs and comparing them for yourselves. To make our lives easier, I'll refer to levels as such. E stands for episode, M stands for mission or level. That way I don't sound redundant in the next bit. The song that leaves the biggest impression has to be the first song that plays for the first level. The title, At Doom's Gate, fits the level perfectly. This track is often disputed on which song it sounds like. Most agree that it sounds like No Remorse by Metallica, but I would say it sounds almost exactly like Hooked by DRI. The next level features a track titled The Imp Song. The intro sounds similar to The Thing That Should Not Be by Metallica. While it may not be verbatim, you can see the similarities. It really helps bring you into the world of Doom. The use of stereo sound is very prominent in the track and it really helps bring you in. Just a quick note before I go on, Slayer is badass. I love Slayer. With that being said, they were an obvious influence for the next two songs. E1M3 features the track Dark Halls, which sounds like criminally insane, while E3M3 has a track titled Deep Into the Code, which sounds like Behind the Crooked Cross. Both are really great to listen to while you're shooting some imps with a shotgun. Judas Priest even makes an appearance. By that, I mean a big one. Donna to the Rescue of E3M2 sounds like Leather Rebel. Look it up. Now. It sounds almost identical. Believe me. Last but not least, Pantera makes an appearance for two songs. Kitchen Ace and Taken Names of E1M4 sounds like Rise. It helps if you want to punch some demons in the face. The next song is titled Untitled, funny enough, and that is the song for E2M9. It sounds like Mouth for War. Once again, it really helps when you want to punch the armies of hell in the face. Besides the metal tracks, there were some horror-themed ones as well that were based within real-life songs. Suspense from E1M5 is a prime example of a creepy song from DooM. It is straight out of a horror film. Make sure you're listening for those demons.
You never know when one might come out to get ya.
They're Going to Get You from E2M4 starts slightly curious sounding, but then it shifts into a creepier sound when the MIDI track sounds like a church organ. Eventually, another organ track comes in and it adds to the creepy levels. I wanted to mention that some of the titles have really good and creative titles if you haven't realized that yet. The next song, Nobody Told Me About Id, not only has a nice title but a good track that is slightly misleading in its sound. Whenever I get to E2M8, the level that the song plays in, it makes me feel like this is the end of my journey. This is another example of a song properly using stereo sound. The last horror-themed track I wanted to mention is titled Demons on the Prey. This was first used in E1M7. It picks right up from where the last track left off. It feels really eerie to listen to this while you're walking through the halls of the damned. The drum track reminds me of a drum pattern here from some type of military environment. At least I think so, but you tell me what you guys think. Well, boys and girls, that's all I really have to say about the masterpiece DooM. Hopefully, the tight metal tracks have made you want to go out and kick some demon ass, whether it's with the old classic or the new one that just came out a bit ago. If you're curious about getting it, there are tons of videos already telling you what is and isn't there. Me personally, I most likely won't be getting it, but apparently the single player makes the game worth getting. It can't be any worse than the multiplayer beta. If you're curious and want to hear my thoughts on the beta, I don't know why you would, you can click on the link on the screen or in the description below. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, week, or whatever else. And as always, I want to hear your suggestions, your critiques, and all of that jazz. So please let me know in the comments below. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
I'm